Hey everyone, I'm here with Gina Teed. She is one of my cosmic warriors inside the Evolution 10X Masterclass. And I just wanted to have a conversation just about the things that have transpired that I've seen change in you. And I want to know like what you have seen changed in you. But first, just go ahead and tell them a little bit about who you are. Like, why did you even join E10X Mastermind?
Okay. So yeah, the first reason I joined was because I was building a business and I was having issues with money mindset in general, actually. And also because I didn't know how to build business. And so, I wanted to like get clear on all of that stuff together. How my mindset was and my money mindset was affecting growing a business. And how changing my mindset actually changed so many other things. Um, so I was equating coaching as the business and not the business itself. Like the coaching as was actually what I'm doing. It's not creating the business. It's not the hands-on piece of it. And I was thinking that I had to do all this stuff to create a business. And it's really not the doing, of course, it's the being, right? So, yeah,
What
and
do you
I've been doing a ton of work on myself for years, but this has like been the biggest transformation I've had in this program or in this mastermind.
a lot of people join E10X thinking that it's going to be like business program, right? Like they're like, because I'm always like, wait until you get in. We just recently had a new member come in, and I know that the perception is always that they're going to learn a lot about business. Like it's going to be a business program. And I'm like, no, no, no. It's mindset. It's a mindset program. And when you get in there, the first couple of weeks, it's so fun to watch because everyone feels like their world is falling apart. Yes, I find that entertaining. But at the same time, I see it because you went through, I remember when you came into E10X and the reasons, and your subconscious was noisy, you had a lot of self-doubt, you had done a lot of work. And I think this is really important for coaches to understand, because I know that the coaches I help have done tons of work around
Mhm.
self-esteem, self-love. But when you're looking at it from an entrepreneurial standpoint, right? Instead of a business, like a CEO standpoint, when I look at my clients, when they come in, they have low self-esteem because they're still operating their business in hard work and hustle, and they're viewing it like a job. Like I need to put this amount of time in and then it's going to equal this. And that employee mindset is just a trigger, like a red flag for me to see, oh, self-esteem issues. Valuing your time and trading it for money. If I put this
Yes,
in here, I will manifest that. You had a really noisy subconscious.
I did.
How
I
long do you
definitely
think
did.
it took before you started seeing transformation inside the program?
Um, well, I think, well, of course, this is the second round for me. And I think the first round, this was still pretty noisy after the first round because it was literally like my brain was completely fighting everything. It really was. I've listened to the modules probably 4 times now, maybe. I'm not sure of that number, but it doesn't matter. The number doesn't matter. But every time I listen, I get something different and I get a little bit quieter. I mean, I can quiet my mind down in no time flat most of the time now. I mean, everybody still gets triggered at times and everybody still has, there's still times when my emotions are really strong and it's just like I accept it and I let myself feel them and then I move past it or move forward. Um, I I literally sleep better. I mean, the weight loss literally the 15-pound weight loss I lost since November. was because I quieted my mind down. It wasn't even, it was, I mean, it's a lot of pieces, but the biggest thing was literally quieting my mind down and like removing my, not removing, not even controlling, but just allowing my stress level to go away. Like to not like go in my brain and just constantly walk it. I mean, because that's what I was doing. I was like walking through it all the time. I wasn't sleeping. And you know, I've done a ton of other things along with it, because as I quiet my mind down, I can see the pieces where I need to do the other changes, my lifestyle changes, where I was focusing energy that I shouldn't have been focusing because it wasn't aligned with where I want to be. Who I was being in my relationships. I mean, that's a huge thing. And I saw that before, but I couldn't quiet down my mind enough to figure out how to change it.
Being a caretaker for your mom too, right? Like that, there's a lot that is wrapped in that. I did that for my dad. And with this method, when you begin to implement the E10X method, it really helps you prioritize and let go of the meanings that you're and noise that you're attaching to that situation, right? You know what I'm talking about.
Like when I first started, I did financial frequency first. And when I started financial frequency, my mom was actually in the hospital. And so like financial, I mean, it's a really wonderful program, and obviously
it doesn't exist anymore. Well, it's a bonus inside the mastermind.
I mean, I did it, and so I joined E10X the first time, and I was like, we were in the middle of some of the worst problems that she's had, medical issues. And so she was in this horrible place, and she's been wheelchair bound for like 6 months now, basically, on and off. She can't leave the house by herself, none of that stuff. So when I first joined that first E10X, like literally what it did was keep me from like losing my mind. That's what it felt like. And it literally just like grounded me enough to like keep from literally losing my mind. And that's what I felt. I mean, that doesn't mean it was true. That's what I felt. And then starting the second one, I've like now been able to like make the changes and strength, like encourage her a different way and change the way I talk to her and change the way I look at caregiving. Because for a while it was like, this is a burden. And this is a burden I can't do because I was doing it by myself. And I tell myself I was doing it by myself. I mean, I have a partner. It's not like I'm doing it by myself. I'm doing her care by myself, but I'm not doing everything by myself. I like am willing to ask for help, and more importantly, which is something I see a lot of us women not doing, I receive it. I accept it. I don't shoot it back because it's so easy to do that because it's a pattern that you learn growing up, right?
I'll just do it myself.
Yes. And I don't get me wrong, I will still go and do something by myself that I've asked somebody else to do, but usually it's because it's a habit and I'm like, I don't have to do that. I know I don't have to do that. I chose to do it. And so I don't take it and make it a negative. Like I don't make it about the other person. I just like, well, next time I will let him do what he said he was going to do and just let it go.
It's when I think about how far you've come, like there's so many transformations that I've seen. I love the fact that E10X, while I work with entrepreneurs, it's just the thread that changes throughout everything, right? And it's all about self-love. It's all about self-love. And this is like, I tell people it's a lifelong journey. Like, I don't know when I will love myself completely, right? We go love in and of itself is unconditional. Like you can't love yourself without loving all of you. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm having a problem loving my stomach. I love me, but my physical stomach, I'm not loving so much, right? So I'm like, okay, how can I maneuver? And so let me ask you this, like the one thing that I love, and this is why I created the E10X Mastermind, is because I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on masterminds. I kid you not. And every time I would be in one, the women were not at the level of consciousness that would encourage me to stick and stay around. So it wasn't a community. It felt more like I was the coach. And it was
Right.
really hard, right? So I was like, well, I'm paying for this. So I would most of the time I would step away. But it was the driving force behind me creating the mastermind, because I knew even though the women coming in wouldn't be at the same level of mindset as me, I could get them there very rapidly, because that's what I'm all about, like closing those gaps. And what you have witnessed is you've witnessed the growth of the mastermind, right? So you've been able to witness the dream that I had and how we communicate as a community.
Right.
What is your impression of the community inside E10X?
Wow. It's amazing, actually. I love it. We're all different. I mean, none of us are the same. And instead of it being a hindrance to something, it's like it draws us closer. We use each other's experiences to no, there's no it literally helps us grow. I mean, you can listen to somebody talk about somewhere they're struggling and what they're doing to pivot, make the changes, and it can actually help you in a different way. I mean, or you may not even know you might even have the same struggle and you don't even realize it. I like the fact that we support each other. And we have fun doing it. I mean,
We do.
and I mean, we do, we have a blast, and all the cosmic stuff we talk about, and all the things that are going on in the world. I mean, we don't just talk about mindset and ancient
Yeah, it's
wisdom,
about it
all
all.
that
It's
stuff.
a
I mean,
combination.
we talk about like life. I mean, this is what I love. Community, the kind of communities I like, the ones where you can do the back and forth, and there's no judgment. You're safe. You feel like you can be vulnerable about everything. Doesn't mean you do, but it means you can.
You warm up to it. You have to be
Yes.
taught. Like when I first started the mastermind, everyone was still looking to me for the answers. And while I have the answers on the E10X method, because it's my creation, my vision was really to create, because I'm not the expert of everything, but I know that every single woman that comes in there is a strong, independent, free thinking, wise, intelligent being, and are equal. We are equal. I am no better just because I might have, a certain education or a certain position in my former career, or that, and this is what gets me, like, I am no better because I have a multiple six-figure hypnosis business. That doesn't make me more important or any smarter. Somebody said to me the other day, "You're so brilliant," and I was like, "Oh no, 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 I am not, I am definitely not brilliant. You're mistaking me for my husband, because that's not me." I was like, no. But we are all brilliant. We all have experienced so much in life, and we have so much to share. So I love when, like, we have Ruth in there that's finishing up her dissertation. And when she's talking about, it gave me such clarity. Like, I learned so much, but like when she was talking about, how ADHD effects and like dyslexia and stuff, when we're talking about neurodivergent stuff and learning patterns and all this. And it just gives you like insight to not only yourself, but other people. We talk about human design, astrology, we talk about water giants, we talk about telepathy, right? But it's just like one of these beautiful things that we can incorporate. Everyone has something to say.
Yeah,
Everyone.
it's true. It's true. And like, well, and I mean, we talk about menopause, we talk about perimenopause, we talk about health goals, we talk about relationship goals. I mean, it's not like it literally is about life. And I think that having that support and having that ability to like have that, it's more like, it's like I'm emotional. It's like an emotional mastermind in a lot of ways too, because you know that you're, like I said, the safety is a big thing, and you know that there's no judgment, and you can talk about everything, and you're, everyone in there is open to learning. Nobody thinks they're better than anybody else. I mean, like, that is such a gift to be in a place where you can speak your truth and listen to somebody else's truth, and you each learn from it.
Right.
And you can take pieces of it and use it for yourself without like there being this like competition for, oh, this is what I did. It doesn't matter who does what. We all, it's nobody owns anything, right?
It
We
reminds
just
me
own
of that,
ourselves.
right? What is it? Isn't it Rumi that said we're all just walking each other home? Isn't that one
Yeah,
of
I think
his,
so. Yeah.
and it just makes me think like, I'm totally transparent when I'm transparent all the time, but I'm like, you have such an amazing background in the medical industry and, advocating for yourself, that having you in the group helped me go into my own OBGYN and start talking about estrogen and what, I'm going back there this month to have my 3-month check-in to see that everything's okay. But it's like, I'm willing to talk about anything. I will tell you every aspect of hardship that I've been through. I used to be a really, really hardcore stress eater.
Mm.
And then I would punish myself the next day with over exercise so that I would be in a calorie deficiency. But it was always out of punishment, not out of fun. Even though I do love running, it was still, oh, well, I ate that 10,000 calorie cookie yesterday. I got to go run it off. I'll have to do 23 miles today. It just was crazy, right? So I love sharing those things because I think a lot of the time when we're working with coaches, they put themselves up here and they don't allow for them to show themselves. Like I think it was a couple of weeks ago when I was talking about, I said something like, when I get stuck, right? And this is one thing that I do to reflect on it. And Diane said, it's really nice to know that you get stuck too. And I'm like, oh my God, yes. Like, of course I do. I'm human. Like there's always going to be something that comes up, right? Like you can't avoid it. I just know the method to be able to move through it rather quickly. But I still, like right now, y'all are witnessing me declaring the $1 million business and the difference in who I've been and how I'm showing up differently, right? Like I'm different. I have changed since March.
Yeah.
And so, and I just love sharing all that because you have to, how you have to model and show people that you're human, but so many coaches don't. And I want you all, like, I'm always encouraging y'all to show that side because nobody wants the elite leader that's like, I am the best and I am the one that's doing all the coaching. They want somebody who's realistic and who is like in front of them as a human being too. And that's what I want all of you to be able to do. It's scary, but it's worth it.
Well, I've noticed that some coaches are very targeted in their vulnerability. Like it's really targeted for, building their business, like actually bringing people in based on that, that little bit of share, and they don't share the rest of it.
Because it really is about everything.
Yeah. And it's relationships. I mean, it's relationships regardless. You're building relationships. And if you're not building you're building relationships with everybody you meet, regardless of whether it's a 5-minute relationship or a lifetime relationship.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people look at it that way. I don't think they see it that way. And I don't think every one of us in this group has a relationship with each other in the group. So, and it's pretty strong, I think, my opinion.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It is a very
I love
strong
it.
group.
I mean, I miss it when it's, I mean, like our 2-week vacation,
I
like no
know.
calls. It was like, what am I gonna do?
What am I
I
supposed to
like
be
this.
doing? And
Well,
then
it's like I missed the talk. I missed the conversation because it pushes me forward every time we have a conversation. Like literally, even if it's just an inch, it pushes me forward. It makes me
I
think something
like
different.
that. I also, there was a time when it was like, it's going to be 4 weeks out of the month because there's some weeks with 5. And then I realized that last month there were 5 weeks and I'm like, screw it. I'm just going to do it every week because I'm like, every week of every month. I don't want it to like, first that was built on a different layout. And I was like, no, we're just going to do this. We're just going to have it. Cause I'm like, why? I miss it when we don't have it.
It is just so much fun. It's amazing that something so, it can be so intense and so it feels so heavy sometimes, but you still have a lot of fun doing it. Transformation doesn't have to be like negative. It isn't a negative. I mean, we put a negative conversation or I picked the wrong word because
Connotation.
yes, that's the word I was looking for.
Mm.
Or even context on it because we think it has to be this because it's hard or it's
Soul wrenching.
yes, I mean it's all this stuff and you like, yeah, you cry, you know, you feel you get mad, you do all the emotions, but it's such a positive like life altering thing. I mean, it like really pushes you forward and you don't feel I look at back at where I was even 5 years ago. I mean, even 6 months ago, but even 5 years ago alone, when I first started doing like coaching myself, like getting into coaching, like it was little pieces and parts. Because I had a really my perception was I had a really low self-confidence and I didn't understand what confidence was, and I didn't even understand where confidence came from. And and then I realized it really wasn't even a confidence issue. It was literally my brain telling me I'm stuck somewhere to have something that happened, you know, when I was a kid or something that happened when I was a teenager or whatever. It wasn't even anything that was real anymore. It literally is like it's gone. It's just the struggle. It doesn't have to be a struggle. I mean, we're gonna have, you know, there's challenges, obviously, but you don't have to get stuck there. Literally, I don't feel stuck most of the time. I mean, I get stuck in parts and pieces, but I don't get stuck in this story of who I was
Mm-mm.
20 years ago. I mean, I am who I am now. I'm not who I am 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Mm-hmm.
just, it feels so like, it feels much more freeing than so many other things I've done.
It's
I know that's not,
liberating, right?
yeah, it is. It's so
And
much.
we join it, like everyone joins it for the bottom dollar, right? Like
Mhm.
this is how much money I'm going to manifest and this is what, you know, all that beautiful stuff. But when you realize, when you really come to know where money comes from, then it
Yeah.
opens up because really it's a heart center. It's like loving, it all comes back to your self-worth and loving yourself, right? I always say, I love the book, Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It. I always suggest it to all my clients. Like it's the first book I think most people should read because money comes from who we are.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so if you're not doing this work up here, you're just going to keep struggling and struggling and struggling. And I know like the thing to really realize when we're looking at entrepreneurism and coaching and stuff is what do you really want? What do you really want?
Yeah.
Right? Because business can look in many different ways, but you have to know what it is you want before you can create it.
Yeah, and I think that's true regardless whether it's business or personal life. I mean, because I mean they're tied together anyways. But
Mhm.
if you don't know where your vision of where you want to be in 5 years in your personal life or as a life a whole, you're not going to be able to create the business that helps
Mm-mm.
grow that or helps
Right.
get that there. Imagine, you know, I don't that
I
word.
see so many women not enjoying what they're doing in their business.
Yeah.
And because they're not enjoying it, they're not getting the benefits of financial benefits because they're sending out into the universe that it's struggle, that it's not fun, that it's this. And so the universe is like, oh, okay, so you really don't like running a business. So we're not gonna, I like to talk about the universe as a they. So we'll just we'll just not give you anything. You don't like it, you don't respect it. I always talk about it like it's like a little kid in the like toy store 2 days after Christmas when they're like, I want this, I want that, I want this. And the universe is like, you don't even play with the toys that you have. I'm not going to give you more.
Right.
Right. You don't even like and respect the toys that I've given you. So why should I send down more? And when you really think about this, when you're looking at it, the bigger picture of, oh, where am I saying that in all of my life? Where am I saying that about my vehicle, my home, my mom or dad, or where am I saying that about the relationship with my partner, the food that we're eating or we're buying? Where are you saying, I don't like this, I want a new one, I want a new one, instead of going and really appreciating the one that you have and playing with it and having a good time until it's completely ragged and you want a new one and a better one.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you see that a lot with in the political thing too, because they're back and forth on who's doing this the best or who's doing this, and nobody actually makes any changes. They still just do the same things over and over again. They just talk about it. I mean, on the big screen, that like right there shows you how much
it's ingrained into our belief system.
Yes, and how in our mindset, how our mindset affects everything, because when you get out there and hear them talking about it and people get so upset about it, and it's like right there, look at it. This is it. If you want something different, you have to make something different. And you get to choose how you get to do that. And politics aside, literally change on a daily basis. If you want change in your life, you'll have to do the actions but you also have to be the person that's wants
you
to
have
change.
to do the work, and E10X is the work, right? Like you have to be willing to do the work. And so often, all the time, and you hear me say this all the time, I see women all the time complaining and bitching and griping and wanting their life different and then doing nothing, like doing nothing different. And you know what it is? It's like, well, it's just how life's supposed to be, I guess. And it's like, oh my God, no. There was a point in my life when I was in so much struggle and stress that I was like almost ready to resign. Like, I guess this is just how life's supposed to be. And then I was like, fuck that. No, no, no. And yeah, it's too many women wasting too much time in scarcity. And I get asked a lot, like, how can you tell like what your mindset is? And I'm like, easy. Take a look at your bank account. What does it look like? And women that really want to be in business, like, there's women within the group that want to be entrepreneurs, and they have this certain idea of what what a business is supposed to look like. And a lot of us are thinking that businesses are very similar and they're supposed to look like the perception that we have from the outside looking at professional people, like, oh, that's what business ownership is. But there's a whole back end that goes along. And it's really important for women to understand that you can, in today's world, you can be anything. Look at influencers. Look at freaking influencers. Although some people are saying like that's on the way out. But when you're looking at, for almost all of history, especially politicians, get paid to speak in public, right? Like you can get paid to go and speak in public. And one of our women inside E10X was like, I had lost track. I was thinking like I wanted to be a coach and this was supposed to be my business. And I lost track that no, I want to be a speaker. I want to speak on stage. I want to be known for, who I am and my ability to manifest. But it's not me sitting and growing a program. And I'm like, then you don't have to, right? Like, you don't have to do that. You can get paid to be a speaker.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of different things you can do. I mean,
Yeah.
even collaboration.
But we get like this.
But we get, yeah, I was just gonna say, we think that it's one way because we see other people doing it, and we don't actually see the back end. We don't see the other possibilities. You know,
That's the beauty about the group too, like really opening people up to, you don't have to do that. Like, why do you think that you have to?
Yeah.
And why do you think that you can't make 100K? Like, really? Like, that's one of the easiest
I think
things to
that's
manifest.
one of the biggest things I've seen, like just women around me struggle with was like they think that what they're doing is to help out their family, or they don't value their business as a if about, it's not about what they look at it like. It's just, this is just something I'm doing to help somebody. I'm not
Sidekick.
like,
It's my
yes, a
sidekick.
side hustle or a, yeah, and it's a hustle or it's a grind, or it's like, I'm just doing this because my husband's really the, what do you
My
call
husband
that?
wants to retire early and we're going to need another income.
Yeah, exactly. Things like that. Or if they're like stay-home moms, which is fine. They're doing it, just because we need the extra money. They don't value themselves. They don't make themselves a priority. And which, being a stay-at-home mom is wonderful. If you can do that and you want to do that, it's a awesome thing if you choose to do it and you want to do that and you can afford to do that. You've got the setup to do all of this stuff. But you don't have to, because women are more than just
Moms.
mothers. Yeah, I mean, we have so much potential, and I admire any woman who does whatever they choose to do. I mean, it's just amazing when you can step
Feeling
outside.
that responsibility.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of women, I hear this often too, like, I don't have to have a business. My partner does really well. I don't have to. And then I'm like, okay, well, if you don't have to, then why do you want to? Like, you're the one telling me that you don't have to. So what really is the driving force behind you having one? Because if you don't have that driving force, you're never going to have one. Because it's like, I just kind of want to have a hobby on the side. Well, okay, you treat your business like a hobby, it's going to pay you like a hobby. It's going to be really expensive, right?
Well, yeah, like there's no one why. Like that's the first thing that we talk. One of the first things we talk about. There's no one why. I mean, I have 58 listed on my list right now. I have 58.
Nice.
And because there's no one thing, like literally a better life. What does that mean? Better situation. I mean, there's so many things. Realistically, there's the way
what
we
are
live
some
right
things
now.
that what are some tangible things that you like, tangible, that you would like to create in your life in the next 90 days?
Well, date night with my partner twice a month, right there.
Good. You guys love concerts? Going to a concert once a month? Or
I don't know about once a month, but every once a quarter.
whenever a good band, maybe.
It depends on where the bands are and stuff. We've got 2 planned right now. One in the summer, one in the fall. So that's right there. That's
Who are they? Who's playing?
One is, okay, hold on. Let me think. Who are they? One is Stained and Breaking Benjamin, I believe. So they're heavy metal. Kenny's a really huge fan of Stained. I like them.
I've never heard them.
They are, yeah.
But we're old school heavy metal. We are big Iron Maiden fans.
And he loves Iron. I don't like that. I don't like
love Iron Maiden.
The older ones. Like, I mean, if you pick like some of the newer bands like we've listened to are like Godsmack, and they're not newer, they're 20 years old. Like Godsmack, Nickelback, Shinedown. I've seen like Shinedown. Oh, Alice Cooper is who we're going to see.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I love Alice Cooper. I love Alice Cooper. Because I was like a teenager. The first I saw him when I was like 20.
So now you're making sure that those are happening. What are 2 other things that you want to, I could use the word manifest, manifest in or out of your life in the next 90 days, right? Because sometimes we want, so like for me, like I always talk about goals. One of the things that's on our list over the summer is to replace the windows in our den. There you have it. In the next 90 days, replace the 2 windows in our den, because we love to do everything ourselves. We like to renovate ourselves. So it's like, okay, that's a big enough thing, right? It does, people think that these dreams have to be like gigantic. And I'm like, yeah, do you know, like we're going to have to buy the windows and all the trim and all that stuff. And then we take the old ones out. Then we put the new ones in, which takes like a day for each of them, because we have 1800s colonial that's uneven. So we got to even things up. Like, you don't know what it takes to do that, right? So it's like, these are like any size, like getting a new umbrella for the patio. So what are 2 more things that you want to materialize?
Well, I'm wanting to create a sanctuary in my backyard for myself, but the 2 in the next 90 days that will get us to that goal is, well, one of them is going to be like cleaning the stuff out. So we're like, I have a lot of stuff. I used to have chickens in the backyard. So I'm getting rid of all that stuff. We've moved them all to the main coop, and I'm not like expanding anything. I'm just keeping what I have. There's no more expansions of them. I'm keeping my farm animals to a limit.
Nice.
I mean, that right there is a huge
You've
thing.
reduced so much since you've joined.
Down to like 2 farm animals, and then the chickens, 2 big ones. And then there was something else we were going to do.
The sanctuary will be nice. See, I love the way that you are thinking about it in a step. Like the goal is to have the sanctuary, but the first milestone is to clean it out.
Yeah. Yeah. We have like a couple trees that need to come down. So, those are after we get everything else out of there. It's like we've been working on it for several months. And so it's getting there. The other tangible. I haven't thought of the other tangible. For my health, I can tell you.
Okay, yes, that's tangible.
So I've been doing that goal for my push-up, which I'm going to hit like for this month. So my next goal is to, strength is my biggest, like, this is where I'm focusing is strength, not like losing weight.
Yeah.
So my next goal is to,
I can help you with that.
Yeah. Well, it's the strength. I need, that's the tangible has to be something with strength. I think I'm gonna start using my dumbbells, like adding weight with my dancing or with my actual.
I will tell you this, that incorporating your dumbbells, how much do they weigh?
Well, I have 3 sizes. I have 2 pounds, I have 5 pounds, and I have 10 pounds.
Okay. So right now you can do 5 pounds. Okay. So those of you that don't know, I'm a certified personal trainer. That was my first business. So, you can actually start incorporating them now, and it will improve your ability to do your push-ups sooner.
Oh yeah. And how do I incorporate them with my push-ups?
So the first thing is when you're doing your push-up, you're doing bicep push-ups, right?
Yeah.
So you want to strengthen your shoulders. And honestly, if you're trying to move up to doing push-ups without doing cross training, it could hurt your shoulders. Okay. So you start level like this, right? Just take them up, knock them together. Do 3 sets of 12 of those. By the end of the set, you should be like this. The last set, you're like, I don't know if I can. Okay. So you're going to push it till you can't. So that's going to help with your shoulders. You can also just do bicep curls. Okay. Okay. That's going to help now. But I think the next step to really helping you, this is where I see a lot of women struggling, is in core, right? Yeah. Not a lot of core strength, and also leg strength. So there's a couple of things that are really important as we age, as mature women. And I always talked about this straight out of the gate. Like, one thing is is being able to get out of your seat without using your hands. This is going to be really, really important, right? So that's leg strength. So if you got that going, good, right? But we also want to be able to get off of the floor. Like my mother, 87, just had a fall and it took her 45 minutes to get up off of the floor. So like being able to get off of the floor is going to be really important. So there's a lot of different ways, a lot of things that we need to do to strengthen it. But good core and cardio, high knees. You know what high knees are? Just do high knees and just like bring them up. You don't have to jog in place or anything. Just bring them up. That's going to start. That's a light core. Do 3 sets of 10 of those. So I either do 10 or 12, right? So just do like 10. And I have whole routines that I do every morning, but you can just do like, I'm going to do 10 of these and then like 10 high knees and then 10 of these and then 10 high knees. And during that, what are you going to have to do? You're going to have to put your weights down on the ground and then you're going to stand up, right? So you're like practicing how to lift things properly and all that. But I think the arms are always great to have strong, but your core is going to, like, it is the foundation of your whole structure. Like it holds so much. So
yeah, several years ago, I was in physical therapy for sciatica. So I started core training a little bit. I haven't I do resistance band, but it will be good to strengthen it some more.
I know in your Facebook group, I was saying that I can, like, I'm just going to share my 28-day belly fat reduction, because all these coaches will be like, you belly fat, you can't target area, but you actually can, because women of a certain age, our estrogen levels change. The place that we gain very specifically is on our center. And so there's ways that we can target that to help reduce it. And like, because a lot of it is bad toxic fat, and it's also created from inflammation. So all these things. So there's ways that we can eat and exercise to reduce our waist size as women. So anyone that tells you that it's impossible, it's like, no. But that being said, when you adapt for that, you're also going to lose inflammation from other areas, right? So
well, my bucket list is to do belly dancing, and I've done it a little bit, but I want to be.
You need a little fat for that. Got to have a
Oh,
wiggle.
I can do it, and I can now isolate my muscles that I couldn't do before.
It's so hard. I did that for like a year.
Fun. It's
I know.
so much fun.
I would do it. I would.
Very sexy.
It's so much fun. We don't have any of that stuff around here.
Well, we do, but I have to drive an hour. So
oh my God.
I did it for 6 months. No, I did it twice for 8 weeks each time. And I had a blast, but when it came up the next time, it wasn't right after my mom fell.
Now we have TikTok.
Yeah, I mean, they're everywhere. Well, the thing is, they're everywhere now. You can go online and look and do it. But once you start doing it and you just remember once you've learned how to isolate those muscles, it's so freaking awesome. You don't even realize you have them until you start using them.
Yeah. And it uses a lot of them. And it's not about what we look like, right? It's not about what we look like. It's about how we feel and our health. So it's not like, yeah, I'm going to reduce my waist by 10 inches or whatever. It's more about, I want to reduce the inflammation and fat that is like a killer. I don't want to die. I don't want to be a
diabetic. I don't want to be a diabetic. I don't want to be any other things. I love my mom to death, but every person I know over 70 has some kind of chronic health issue. And half the women are very frail. It's like it's the lack of estrogen because of our health care system isn't consistent with hormone information. And the other is we literally just don't know. We put ourselves last as women. And especially
not taking the time
before us.
Right? I tell young girls, and they're not hearing me. They're not listening, right? They have a listening problem. I'm like, if I would have known at 30 what's going to happen to me in my 50s, I would have start looking at dietary things and making the changes then. I would have definitely, because nobody told me about cholesterol levels, heart rate. You know, what I thought menopause was hot flashes and not having a period. And
Okay.
it's so much, it's
Literally,
deadly. Like it will kill you early.
yeah, I've been in the medical field for 30 years. I mean, non-clinical, but I've heard maybe 5 people talk about menopause, and one of them was because she went into early menopause, and nobody ever talked about it. Nobody talked about the symptoms other than what, hot flashes, even brain fog. You don't even hear people talk about it. Like when I went into menopause, it was like right in the middle, like right about COVID. So some of my brain fog was possibly COVID, some of it was possibly menopause. They're like, they can't tell you. But I treated them both the same way. I mean, like I did the diet changes, I did the estrogen, and it's not perfect, but it's way, way better. I mean, it's never going to be perfect because I've done damage to my body from
I can
40
say,
years, 40 years of
like,
not knowing any different.
I didn't know, like, I'm starting estrogen later, right? I don't know. I had an IUD, so I don't know when I went through menopause, but um, just having the estrogen as low as it is, I can't pinpoint it, but so much has changed.
Mhm.
It's not on the outside, right? Not yet. I feel better, but I've always been really strong and stuff, but it's like this underlying thing as a mindset coach. I was like, I'm controlling, like I'm able to like move my attention and like master my thoughts. I'm good at that. But there's something that like that low estrogen creates a chemical imbalance in your head that even though you are not thinking depressing thoughts, is hindering your ability to be happy. And the
Yes.
estrogen just alone, it's like, wait, I feel light again. I don't feel like there's this like dooms. And I didn't even realize how bad it was until I got rid of it. And I was like,
Yeah.
fuck.
I
Like
noticed
that
it
was
too when
what
I
I was
started.
up against.
Mhm. I noticed it too when I started estrogen. Also, one of the things I do know that when your estrogen decreases, your cortisol raises, so your stress hormone. And the other thing is when you go through menopause, perimenopause, you're, like that hard, really rough, like that intense exercise we do when we're in our 20s and 30s, where
Mm,
we like it's all cardiovascular, it's all like go, go, go. Well, that increases your cortisol when you hit your 40s and 50s. So
mm-hmm.
then you're not even doing what you need to do to make your body stronger. You're actually working against it. So it's like that mindset shift of what we're doing in our 20s and 30s is not what we're going to be doing in our 40s and 50s. And being able to share that with other women so they can share it with other women is like a huge thing.
And that's
Which
your
is something we
gig.
also do in our group too.
Yeah.
I mean, we have different ages. So
And it was, for me, it was really like making that shift, understanding that I'm always going to be a runner. I don't know if I'll ever be back to marathoning because of my foot, but um, I know that I'll always be a runner. But I also know that a majority of my running from here on out is going to be interval.
yeah, high interval. Yeah.
So
High
it's
intensity.
like get that heart rate up and then have that recovery
Yeah.
time, get that heart rate up, have that. And I'm like, which is okay. I'm okay with that. I will have like 5 mile runs and stuff that are not like that. But yesterday I was like, yeah, this is how it's going to be. I'm going to do the intervals because
Yeah.
it's that getting that heart rate down to recovery. And that's going to be how I'm going to be able to lose weight. I'm going to be able to, do the thing like and keep my strength up and then come home and work out. Yeah. Look at us.
Well, yeah,
We're
because
like talking about menopause now.
I've never even been an exerciser in that kind of sense. I mean, I've always been like, my job is sitting on my butt. I will be
Mm,
honest. My job is, but even when I was doing that, I'd get up and walk every hour. And at home, it was worse. When I went remote, it was like, I don't have any reason to get up, but I made myself. I actually had to intentionally like scheduled. Like put a timer on it first until it was a habit. But we have the identity, like I had that identity, like I don't exercise because I don't like to go to the gym and don't exercise.
I don't do the gym. I can't stand gyms.
Yeah, I can't stand the gym because I don't like the personality, but exercise in itself is not even about being being a person who exercises. It's like literally, I want to be the healthiest person I can be at this point in my life and for the next however many years I have. And this is how I do it. And changing that mindset of what, like changing that idea of who I want to be in menopause, post-menopause. I mean, who I want to be like 30 years from now. I don't want to be that woman that's in the hospital because I broke my hip for the second time. Because I didn't do the things that protected my bones. I didn't do the things like literally, I mean, like estrogen alone. Like the lowest dose of estrogen at a woman at 80. If she doesn't have osteoporosis already, she can start it. And it will prevent her from getting osteoporosis. Yes. I mean, I had this conversation with the doctor because I was like, when we were in the, because I take my mom to the doctor and, we have these conversations about whether estrogen is good for women as they age and the benefits. And she's like, yeah, we will literally put somebody on.
As long as they don't already have it, it's not
As
going to
long as
slow
they
it
don't have
down.
osteoporosis. Yeah. If you don't have osteoporosis, even if you have osteopenia, they can put you on it and it'll help strengthen your bones. Keeps you from going down backwards. There's other things that go along with that, I mean, even at 80, you can start an exercise program and doing 5 minutes a day. And it helps you literally walking across the room. You take the effort to walk across the room.
You don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah.
And somebody was like, your mom at her age shouldn't be staying upstairs at your house. She needs to stay on the main floor, which is not an option in our house. Right. And I was like, why? Just be like, you don't know who my mom is. Obviously, she's been getting up and down these stairs and my husband are here, right? Like, let's get her active and walking up him. And then every time she comes to stay, within a week or two, she's able to get up and down them fine. Yeah. Because she's using those muscles again. Anyway, exactly. I know we got off track. Yeah. But yeah, cool. I just wanted you to share a little bit of your experience today. And I'm going to be putting this all over social media on my podcast and whatnot. And yeah, just sharing the goodness. I want to spend more time talking to more people.
Oh, yeah.
And just like getting the word out about how amazing our community is and transformational it is.
Yes, and there's some wonderful women and men too in there. Yes. So I mean, it's awesome, and there's so much you can learn from it.
And it's all about the women, though. We want you to know that it's definitely about women taking back the throne that we were written off of. So the men that are in there are aligned with returning the balance returning the balance. Okay, cool. You go enjoy your Sunday, and I will talk to you soon.
Okay, sounds good.